What the butler saw. Dr. Prentice, a psychiatrist, heads a private clinic. Geraldine Barclay thinks she is interviewing for a secretarial position. Prentice has designs on her. Act 1, a room in a private clinic. Morning, doors lead to the wards, the dispensary, and the hall. French windows open onto pleasant gardens and shrubberies. Sink, desk, consulting couch with curtains. Dr. Prentice enters briskly. Geraldine Barclay follows him. She carries a small cardboard box.
Take a seat. Is this your first job?
Yes, doctor.
Prentice puts on a pair of spectacles, stares at her. He opens a drawer in the desk, takes out a notebook.
I'm going to ask you a few questions.
He hands her a notebook and a pencil.
Write them down. In English, please. Who was your father? Put that at the head of the page.
Geraldine puts the cardboard box she is carrying to one side, crosses her legs, rests the notebook upon her knee, and makes a note.
And now, the reply immediately underneath for quick reference.
I've no idea who my father was.
I'd better be frank, Miss Barclay. I can't employ you if you're in any way miraculous. It would be contrary to established practice. You did have a father.
Oh, I'm sure I did. My mother was frugal in her habits, but she'd never economize unwisely.
If you had a father, why can't you produce him?
He deserted my mother many years ago. She was the victim of an unpleasant attack.
Was she a nun?
No, she was a chambermaid at the station hotel.
Pass that large leather-bound volume, will you? I must check your story. To safeguard my interests, you'll understand.
Geraldine lifts the book from the bookcase and takes it to Dr. Prentice.
The station hotel?
Yes.
Opening the book and running his finger down the page.
Ah, here we are. It's a building of small architectural merit, built for some unknown purpose at the turn of the century. It was converted into a hotel by public subscription. I stayed there once myself as a young man. It has a reputation for luxury, which baffles the most undemanding guest.
He closes the book with a bang and pushes it to one side.
Your story appears, in the main, to be correct. This admirable volume, of course, omits most of the details, but that's only to be expected in a publication of wide general usage. Make a note to the effect that your father is missing. Say nothing of the circumstances. It might influence my final decision.
Geraldine makes a jotting in her notebook. Dr. Prentice takes the leather-bound volume to the bookcase.
Is your mother alive? Or has she too unaccountably vanished? That is a trick question. Be careful. You could lose marks on your final scoring.
He returns to his desk and pours himself a whiskey.
I haven't seen my mother for many years. I was brought up by a Mrs. Barclay. She died recently.
From what cause?
An explosion. Due to a faulty gas main, it killed her outright and took the roof off the house.
Have you applied for compensation?
Just for the roof.
Were there no other victims of the disaster?
Yes. A recently erected statue of Sir Winston Churchill was so badly injured that the George Medal has been talked of. Parts of the great man were actually found embedded in my stepmother.
Which parts?
I can't help you there. I was too upset to supervise the funeral arrangements, or indeed to identify the body.
Surely the Churchill family did that?
Yes, they were most kind.
You've had a unique experience. It's not everyone who's had their stepmother assassinated by the North Thames Gas Board. Can I get you an aspirin?
No, thank you, sir. I don't want to start taking drugs.
Your caution does you credit, my dear. Now, I have to ask you a question which may cause you some embarrassment. Remember, I'm a doctor. What is your shorthand speed?
I can manage 20 words a minute with ease, sir.
And your typing speed?
I haven't mastered the keyboard. My money ran out, you see.
Dr. Prentice takes the notebook from her and puts it aside.
Perhaps you have other qualities which aren't immediately apparent. Lie on that couch.
Why, doctor?
Never ask questions. That is the first lesson a secretary must learn.
He pulls aside the curtains on the couch.
And kindly remove your stockings. I wish to see what effect your stepmother's death had upon your legs.
Isn't that rather unusual, doctor?
Have no fear, Miss Barclay. What I see upon the couch isn't a lovely and desirable girl. It's a sick mind in need of psychiatric treatment. The body is of no interest to a man of my stamp. A woman once threw herself at me. I needn't tell you that this is spoken of in confidence. She was stark naked. She wished me to misbehave myself. And do you know, all I was conscious of was that she had a misformed navel. That's how much notice I take of women's bodies.
Please forgive me, doctor. I wasn't meaning to suggest that your intentions were in any way improper.
She takes off her shoes and stockings and lies on the couch. Dr. Prentice runs a hand along her legs and nods sagely.
As I thought. You have a febrile condition of the calves. You're quite wise to have a checkup. Undress.
He turns to the desk and takes off his coat. Geraldine sits up, alarmed.
I've never undressed in front of a man before.
I shall take account of your inexperience in these matters.
He puts his spectacles on the desk and rolls back his cuffs.
I couldn't allow a man to touch me while I was unclothed.
I shall wear rubber gloves.